Hey, what's up guys? Yeah, today we are doing a downtown shoot. Probably I'll combine this vlog with another vlog just to make it a little bit longer. And yeah, today I'll explain a few concepts of photography here, maybe a little bit of composition, a little bit of, you know, f-stop and shutter speed, and how the flash works during the daylight, stuff like that. Yeah, first of all, yeah, for those who are new in photography, you may wonder why we carry a light dome in bright days like this one. It's about 6:15 in the evening. The sun goes down at around 8:30, but we still need the flash. The reason why we need a flash during the day like this is because we want to control the ambient light. So by having a flash, you can reduce the light in your camera. That is by really increasing your shutter speed, or rather increasing your f-stop, and if not increasing your f-stop, by reducing your ISO in case your ISO is up there. So by doing those three things, you can actually reduce the ambient light that goes into your camera. And then we use the flashlight to light up the subject and to beautify the environment. Sometimes we use two flashes, one to light up the subject, the second one to actually act as a backlight. But in this case, we might use the sunlight as the backlight if it favors us. And sometimes we use more flashes to beautify the environment. Say there's a tree that is nice and green with flowers around the corner and it's going to appear in the frame. You can put a flash hiding somewhere in there to light it up. That way you are able to beautify the environment. That's part of the composition. You gotta make the whole picture tell a good story, you know. And also make sure you have a beautiful chica like this one. Yeah, that's Rahab, my girl, right there. She's the model today, and we are going to learn something. So let's go. Today, you know guys, I usually love my Fuji X-T3, but lately I've been loving this Lumix S1. The reason, because it's a full frame. A full frame always has this nice creamy, you know, bokeh or that blurriness behind the subject. And the Lumix S1 does it well. And I managed to actually put in the white balance and the settings in a way that it brings us some good colors. And so we're going to use the Lumix S1, and of course we are using this X Pro trigger. And the X Pro trigger, actually we have different triggers, X Pro triggers for different cameras. In the case of this Lumix, or rather Panasonic, I usually use the X Pro O. It's X Pro O. I don't know if you see it. It has an O at the end. The O means Olympus. So for Lumix cameras, we use the Olympus trigger. And for the Fuji, it's the same, X Pro, but it's an F. And for the Canon, I think it's a C. So we'll be using this trigger. And of course, when it comes to the flash, I'm using my Godox AD400. I have two of this, and I also have my AD200, and I use this especially when it's sunny and I have to really beat the sunlight. Like today, you see the weather is really bright, so I have to fight the sunlight to be able to control my ambient light. So, and I'm using this light dome here. It's just a regular small one, I think a 28-inch regular dome. I can't remember the name, but I have two of this. And yeah, let's go for the shoot, guys. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So we are testing the light, see how it does. Right now we are at shutter speed 320, f-stop 3.5, and we are on ISO 250, and I see we are kind of too bright. So anytime you want to reduce the light and you have enough light, you reduce your ISO fast, because of course high ISO brings about grain and depletes the quality of the picture. So now we'll kind of go a little lower on the ISO and still go a little bit higher on the shutter speed, and go a little bit lower, open up the f-stop, that way we can have some blurry background. So let's go. Yeah, the pictures are coming out good. Of course, I'll show them right here. And the background is awesome. So whenever you're shooting and you want a blurrier background, go a little tight on your lens. Instead of shooting at 16 millimeters or 24, just shoot at around 50, 55, 70. These are 24 to 70 millimeter Sigma lens, and it is awesome. So I'm shooting at 70 millimeters, and I'm just moving back to take the whole environment. It brings some nice blurriness back there that is not too much, but it's nice and creamy, and it really goes well with what we're trying to come up with. So one rule of composition is actually breaking the rules. I'm using the rule of thirds a lot here, and I'm using the leading lines a lot, as you can see that fence right there, and she's actually going very well. Her contrast on the dress and the bricks right there and the fence really brings her out. So basically I'm really using, when it comes to composition, I'm using this fence and this path here as the leading lines. That's one of the composition rules I'm using, and sometimes I'm just breaking the rules. So another technique to do composition is just break the rules. So there is no time when I don't break the rules of composition when I'm doing pictures. Always take as many shots with many poses. That way you can have a few to choose from, you know. I usually do as many shots as possible. Some people just take a few nice shots. For me, sometimes the shots may seem nice when you're taking them, but when you go to the computer, you'll figure out, oh, something went wrong here. She didn't smile. She closed her eyes. So I usually take as many shots as possible and just deal with them as I edit. Quick editing, and then I come up with a smaller bank of them and edit and come up with a few nice photos. One rule that I break sometimes: don't ever let bad pictures go out there unless you're shooting your friends and they don't have to give you credit out there. Just don't let your bad pictures out there. Just choose the best, and those are the ones that you send out there. All right? Yeah, while my model changes, let me answer one of the questions that one of you asked me: how I managed to be full-time in terms of photography and film. Yeah, first of all, I combine my photography with film. That way I don't have to compete with so many photographers out there. So I do wedding videos too. Actually, I do wedding videos than I do photography. On the other hand, another thing that keeps me busy is word of mouth. Yeah, make sure you always understand your customer. Who do you work for? Who fits your line of photography? For me, my line of photography, a lot of Africans who live in America love my photography. I do it more in an African way, very naturalistic. So I have a lot of African customers, and I have trained them to be able to pay me well, just the same way Americans pay me. So at first I had an issue of my African people not paying me well, because we are friends and we are counting in form of Kenyan shillings sometimes, but eventually I made them understand, hey, actually you need me more than you think, because I know your culture, I know the kind of work you need. Whenever it's a wedding, I know how the schedule should go. I know the things that they want in the video. I know the things that they don't want. I know how they like to keep their time and all that. So it's about knowing your customer and marketing yourself to that customer kind of a pool. There are so tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of Africans in the US. And actually, eventually, the African Americans have started to love me a lot. And I don't go a week without 3 or 4 jobs. And I don't go a month without 1 big job. So on a very slow month, I'm making enough to pay my bills and keep a little money and maybe reinvest, you know, back into my company. So yeah, another thing, one way I keep up with full-time is because I treat my customers so well. Actually, 99% of my customers usually love my work, and they are usually so thankful, and I usually don't take them for granted. So I communicate to them very well. I give them the discounts that they ask for, you know, and they are reasonable with me, you know. They know how to ask me for things that I can be able to deliver. So the way I treat my customers really matter. They usually sell me out there a lot. Another thing is posting on Instagram and Facebook for me. Yeah, it works, because most of my customers, 80% of my customers are women, and older women with kids and husbands. And these women are either on Instagram or Facebook. So basically, I post there a lot, especially when it comes to... Hey girl! What's up? What's up? Especially when it comes to really actually posting to my community. Facebook works for me. I actually get a customer almost every week because they saw my work on Facebook. So know where your market is, know where your people are hanging out, and just sell yourself there, you know. And maybe another thing is just network a lot. Tell people about your work, and do vlogs like what I'm doing right now. People are seeing me. Some people will ask for cards and all that. People will get to know me through YouTube. So document your work and your life, and you will become a full-time photographer. Not with ease, but faster. Give me some noise! Thank you! So guys, we're going to take advantage of the backlight. The sunset is really getting us well. So in the next 5 minutes, that sunset will be out. So we are taking advantage of it, and see how the backlight works with the flash. The flash is the main light, the sun is our backlight. It's nice and golden. Always the golden hour is the best. So let's go. We do this every week, so just hit me up. If you're in Raleigh, most likely you'll be able to reach me. Just reach out to me at Banana Land Media, tags anywhere, you'll see me there. And just come and let's have fun. It's really a lot of fun with all this equipment and you know, taking pictures. You can come as a model, you can come as a photographer, and let's do our thing, guys. Let's do our thing.